But no, this is where Tyler drops in. First and foremost, how was the birthday, sir, with the oddly colored beverage?
It was good. That beverage was really good, actually. Um, it's like a 5-hour drive, so it wasn't bad. But we knew we were going to spend the night and hang out for a little bit near the beach and go to some cool restaurants, and then head out to the game. And then today we're going to spend all day at the beach chilling. So it was nice. It was nice.
Okay. Now that you've had a chance to recover from the hangover of Atlanta United, we were talking about all the youngins and all the minutes that got put into play. And the one guy that we haven't had the chance to talk about was the guy between the sticks. But your observations now that we've had the sum total of about 11 hours to think about what just happened.
It wasn't pretty football.
No. And you would anticipate with the 9 changes and all of the younger players and the integration that it wouldn't necessarily be that, at least to start.
Yeah, I mean, they came out, and I think everything about this, you have to preface it by saying, like, Charleston Battery is a good team. And I know we've been shouting it from the rooftops for a week now, 2 weeks, since everybody found out that the Battery is who Atlanta was going to be playing. But you have to give full credit to them because they came out, they played their game, and they executed it very well. And realistically, probably should have gone home with the win last night. You literally put this down to the final kick of the game. Josh Cohen is your savior, and you should be worshiping Josh Cohen. But I think the most cohesive the team looked was as you got into the second half. I think Nick Firmino came to life. Mm-hmm. You had some good sequences where it was a little less predictable. It was more through the middle when you could make it happen. And, it was choppy because, again, you got tons of rotation, which you expect out of an Open Cup game regardless, right? When you have that much rotation on top of, like, you're having this rough go of form just in general, it's a kind of a tough pill to swallow at times. But regardless, you came out with the win. You move forward. This is a competition where anything can happen. We all know that. Last night we had a flat soccer ball in the middle of the match. I don't know if that showed up on the TV, but just like random things.
Yeah, those of us who were keeping an eye on things noticed that it was kind of a deflating experience at Patriots Point.
It was actually really funny when Dax received that ball. You could tell something was up with it, and then he was just like, "Hold up," and he just like stopped everything. And then somebody went to go kick the ball, and you could hear it. Like, it just kind of was like a doink. It didn't go anywhere, and it hit the ground, and it just, like, didn't move again at all. But that was, but again, it's the Open Cup. What do you expect?
The magic of the Open Cup, everybody.
Yes.
Maddie, for Tyler.
Ooh, okay. I'm like trying to
as he drinks his recovering cup of hotel coffee this morning.
Yes. We touched highly on some of the younger players, obviously. Who stuck out to you from those players that did step up and made the trip with Atlanta for this game?
Efrain Morales, for sure. I thought Efrain Morales was, like, honestly one of the best players out there. I thought Luke Brennan did pretty well. I think he to me, he has so much talent. I think he just needs a little bit more experience. I think he needs to be a little more comfortable playing off his left foot, things like that. But I thought he looked pretty good. When Alan Carlton came on, I thought he gave you some pretty solid minutes. He's slippery, and he was fun to watch. And even the crowd, the Charleston crowd was like keeping an eye on Alan Carlton when he came on. The moment he came on and started kind of doing some stuff on that near wing, he was impressing a lot of people. So Ashton Gordon got put out of position. I'm not gonna fault him a whole lot. Like, he gave you effort, but again, it was just so choppy with the mixture of a starting lineup and things like that. But who else am I missing? Because there was a lot.
You got Edwards, you got Torres, you got Gordon.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Edwards was solid. I think him and Luke Brennan are. I don't know if I said Luke Brennan or Brooks Lennon a minute ago. I'm that tired, but I was talking about Luke Brennan. But Luke Brennan and Matt Edwards, I thought their connection, especially coming out of the half, was really, really good. And maybe it was more so because they were right there next to me and I could hear them. I was right on top of that wing. But they were communicating. They seemed to be more on the same page. And, Matt Edwards is going to go far, I feel, with this club. And if not with this club, he's going to make the jump at some point. So I think you got a lot of good performances. I just think it was not cohesive because, again, you got players that don't play together much and they have very minimal minutes together.
Mm-hmm. And it's going to take a while for that engine to get turned over, and you kind of sit there and it's like, okay, I'm hearing a noise in the car. You take out the ball peen hammer, you sit there and you hammer it a little bit, and then the noise quits, Yeah. And so then you end up what you get. And I would also say, and Dell probably can back us up on this, Ben Pierman's lack of desire to go to his bench until the extra 30 minutes. The 2:15s was finally when Ben Pierman decided, okay, I probably need to pull some dudes and bring in some folks off the bench to get me through that final 30 minutes. Because I think that Pierman probably was banking on getting a goal in that first 90 where he wouldn't have to turn the engine, where he wouldn't have to turn everything over. And then he doesn't get the goal. And then he's like, okay, how much more can I manage with these guys? And am I getting anything out of them? I think I better start subbing now. And so with a team that doesn't necessarily have a deep bench, he finally had to put his cards on the table and was like, I kind of need to pull my starters who haven't been giving me anything, and I've got to bring in folks off the bench to give me fresh legs.
Yeah, and that is the eternal struggle of a coach. It's not as easy as it sounds. You think, all right, well, you go into a match and when things aren't going the way that you want, and it's definitely different too in a match where you're going to go to extra time and potentially penalties, because all of that comes into your thought process. But I'm glad he didn't, because I feel like had he brought on maybe some other fresh legs a little earlier, might have caught Atlanta by surprise, and we'd be having a different conversation right now. I was actually kind of laughing because Jackson Conway and others, again, I'm right kind of behind that bench on that side. And Jackson Conway probably did like 6 miles of just warm-up running, just nonstop, like from like the midway through the first half all the way until he was subbed on in like the 118th minute or whatever it was.
Yeah.
And then found out that, kudos to him for burying his penalty. But he's coming off an injury. So like, I don't know that he was probably one that you wanted to have to put in. And it's kind of baffling that he even made the bench. But also, if you don't have enough players, right, to fill out a bench and do what you got to do, again, it's none of that's an easy process from a head coaching perspective.
Maddie, what else is on your mind with Tyler as he sips his hotel coffee this morning?
I do want to ask you a little bit about Charleston, just about their playing style. Who stood out to you in that matchup for Charleston? Anyone that you saw there? Like, what did you see from that side from last night?
I'm going to get some of these names wrong, but because I don't have it pulled up in front of me, but Dos Santos was very active on, I guess it would have been their left side, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Nathan Dos Santos went the full 120, 6 clearances, 3 picks, 6 tackles, 10 of 12 on his duels in the overall, 77% passing on 82 touches, 3 long balls, and 2 successful dribbles. So he had a busy night.
Yeah. He was active. He's also very much and then this is coming totally from the perspective of somebody that doesn't watch Charleston Battery on a regular basis. He seemed very much a leader. I mean, he was very, very talkative, and that's not just because I was right there. I kind of kept an eye on him throughout the match, and he was very much, putting his voice out there, directing folks, and trying to make things happen. their bigger center back. I think he was their right center back, if I'm not mistaken.
Leland Archer?
Yes.
Okay.
Didn't get beat a ton. I mean, obviously, you keep a clean sheet and go to penalties, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
But he was giving everybody on that side a tough time. He was making it difficult for Atlanta to get anything going, especially up the middle. And that's a credit to obviously their entire defense and their structure. But, they did well. They were disciplined. And I think that's maybe one of the things that stood out more than anything is just how disciplined this team was. They came out with the game that they wanted to play, and they executed it. They had more shots than Atlanta. They definitely had more dangerous shots. They made Josh Cohen work. And I see Dell in here. He mentioned coming up to this match that their main goalkeeper probably had his nose broke in the Birmingham match.
Yep.
And he was walking around in the stands right next to me. And sure enough, I was like, oh, that's him, because he looked like he put on sunscreen and forgot to wipe it in. It was just
that's Adam Grin was for you.
Yeah, that was Adam Grin was. Yeah. So I mean, those are just two of the names that kind of stood out to me. I was maybe sadistically wanting to see Markanich do more than he did. I didn't want to see it because I didn't want Atlanta to lose. But
True.
I mean, he's a good forward, right? I mean, I think he's still in the Golden Boot race, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
But Atlanta did a good job shutting him down as well. So you got to give credit where it's due.
Yeah, Markanich and MD Myers did not have good evenings. Markanich on the night, 87 minutes, 30 touches, 13 to 22 passing. So only 59% passing from Markanich with 22 passing attempts. 2 long balls. He was 3 of 6 on his duels, 2 of 5 in the air, 1 successful dribble, depossessed 12 times, and fouled once and had the 1 dribble past MD Myers. And to Dell's point, Markanich and MD Myers are far different than Jake LaCava and Jackson Conway. Myers on the night played the full 120, had the 2 shots on target, 1 shot off target, 38 touches, 14 to 20 passing, 2 key passes, 1 cross, 2 for 9 on his ground duels. So he was 3 of 12 overall. He was depossessed 12 times as well. 1 fouled twice, and 2 offside. So MD Myers and Markanich, they were kept in check by Atlanta United on the night. And Dell was mentioning Aaron Malloy. Aaron Malloy, he was a pain in the you-know-what for Memphis 901 last year. And now that he is there on the day, get this, Malloy being the fulcrum that he is, 110 touches on the night, playing a full 120 minutes, 76 of 90 passing. I can't remember the last time I've seen a number that high. 84% on 90 pass attempts, 4 crosses, 8 long balls, 8 of 13 on long balls, 4 for 10 on crosses. Then he was 6 of 13 on his duels, but he was dispossessed 20 times, and he had 4 tackles and 3 dribbles passed. So Aaron Malloy, definitely somebody to have in the spot shadow going forward for Charleston Battery. And the point that I was making to Maddie before she finally sent you the link to log into the show this morning is that we know, or at least we now have a better idea with who played 120, who we're going to be seeing, who might be on the bench, who might be sitting down, and who will not be playing in Chattanooga as the Twos go to Fort Finley to take on Chattanooga FC. I think that with these 120s that we saw across the board, some dudes are going to be putting their feet up, or at least walking around in flip-flops with ice bags on their knees this weekend. Yeah, and Pineda said it after the match when we talked to him. You know, some of this was planned. You know, some of the subs were already planned. The one that I hate the most that you had to do, honestly, was Brooks Lennon. Yeah.
Brooks Lennon, about 15 minutes into it, he looked gassed, and that's unusual for Brooks Lennon. I forget the penalty, like, because that can happen to anybody, right? Like that, it's a penalty shootout. Who knows what's going to happen? Mm-hmm. I am not knocking on Brooks Lennon for missing the penalty. It'd be what it'd be. But I hate that you had to use him because you're going to definitely need him against LA. And, you know, I mean, again, I know he came in at a reasonable time in a match, but you didn't want to have to go to 120 minutes. And he looked tired. But I think it's pretty obvious, like, we're not going to see Efrain Morales. Not going to see Nick Firmino.
Not going to see Edwin.
Definitely not going to see Edwin. So, like, there's definitely a handful that you're 100% not going to see this weekend, or with the twos. But some of them are going to have to give you a little bit extra. I mean, you're going to see Slish, right? Miyumba didn't make the trip. Saba didn't make the trip. Shonda didn't make the trip, that tells you a lot there as well.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to see Dax. You might not see Dax for like 2 weeks at this point.
Yeah.
So I mean, it gives LA a little bit of an advantage, even more so. And this is where the team's going to have to. They just got to dig deep, and they've got to get a result. And it doesn't matter if it's pretty or not. They're going to have to come out of this one against LA just having visions of ice baths and whatever else.
Last night, it took LA a little while, but LA took care of business against Loudoun. It was 1-0 at the break. They scored 2 in the second half. I think Loudoun finally ran out of gas. Denny Bouanga last night gave you 79 minutes, so it makes you wonder. Tomas Angel was also up top. He gave you the full 90. Christian Oliveira started last night. He gave you 65. So that's your starting 3 up top. Bogish last night gave you the full 90. Ilie last night started, and Ilie only played 23 minutes. So that's got some spidey senses going on there. After what happened with him, and Atuesta came in to take Ilie's place after 23 minutes. Timothy Tillman started last night. Tillman gave you 65. Backline was Omar Campos, Eddie Segura, Maxime Chenot, and Sergi Palencia. Palencia, you're kind of used to seeing. He gave you 79. Eddie Segura playing at the back gave you the full 90. So it will be interesting as I raise the people's eyebrow and kind of squint a little bit because of the minutes that you see from a lot of their big guns here to get to that next stage in Open Cup. It makes you wonder what it's going to look like, and then obviously spot shadowing Ilie coming out after only 23 minutes. Just early returns on my.
What's that?
Just early returns on my staring at their lineup quickly and doing a dime store analysis.
Yeah. I wish they had gone 120 like Atlanta did. But, no, I mean, they're going to come here because it's not as if LA is having the season that they've had the past couple of seasons, right? Like they're solid, and this is not going to be an easy game at all for Atlanta.
Right.
But I think LA is feeling like they've got something to prove as well, considering the moves that they have made and the moves that they're about to make in the summer that are already official. So I wouldn't be surprised if the message is very similar to Atlanta's in terms of, I understand you just played pretty decent amount of time on short rest, but we need you to go give us something. Give us something and make the most of the minutes that you're getting. So, we'll see. But it's at home. Knock on wood. Knock on wood that the magic returns to the bins and you can come out with something good.
Yeah. Josh Cohen. I mean, we hadn't had the chance to talk about Josh and what he was able to do last night. And Josh's numbers are courtesy of our friends at SofaScore. 4 saves, 1 punch clear, 1 high claim, 3 saves from inside the box, 2 saves in the shootout, 60 touches, 41 of 44 passing, 93%, 5 of 8 on his long balls, 2 clearances. He actually won a ground duel and was fouled 1 time. So a very, very busy night for Josh. And Josh continues to sit here and have folks sit there and Josh is going, hi, how you doing? Very, very active last night from Josh. Another solid performance.
4 clean sheets in a row. So let me take one step back. I got to say this because Maddie asked me about the Charleston players. I'll give you my man of the match for Charleston.
Yeah.
Because as I sit here and I'm drinking my coffee, I'm remembering I'm having a little bit of PTSD. The Sand Gnats in Charleston were the man of the match. Absolutely murdered me.
Wow.
Murdered me.
Wow.
I didn't realize they were going to be that bad. I mean, been in and around the beach. I know how bad they can be. But not thinking about being inside of a soccer stadium on a little patio, didn't think I was going to get destroyed like I did. So
let me get this straight. So you didn't take
man.
You didn't take your SPF 50 to the ballpark.
Nope.
and you didn't take your dryer sheets to the ballpark.
Nope.
So you were 2 for 2.
I was coming in hot, and I totally look, the sunscreen, that was my fault. I ran out and I was like, whatever. I was not thinking at all about bug spray or dryer sheets or whatever. I wasn't thinking that way at all. And they got me. So if anybody comes to Patriots Point to watch a Charleston game, make sure you bring a couple of select items. All right. Yeah. Yeah. SPF 50 and bug spray.
And slash dryer sheets. Yes. And Hutch is like, don't forget your DEET if you're going to Charleston. Man, well, and Dell's like, yeah, well, I was fine. Well, it's because Dell, you're used to it. Dell knows how to operate in those conditions. So that's the fun part. I mean, but yeah, I mean, with LAFC coming to town, LAFC has not won a match on the road this year. I still don't know which Steve Cherundolo team we're going to be getting on a daily basis, because it's like, you getting that one, it's like he's become more defensive in his posturing with the firepower that he has, although he is bringing in one of the most handsome men in soccer. But that's down the road a little bit when Major League Soccer, for another marketing ploy, has the handsome men of MLS calendar, and it just seems to be all 12 pages of Olivier Giroud. But it's you just wonder what LAFC team you're going to be getting on a daily basis, and then you combine that with what we saw in the midweek with them having to compete in Open Cup, and you're like, I mean, I don't know. It's like Steve Cherundolo flipped a switch and went more defensive about a year ago, and I don't understand it.
Yeah, because the output hasn't been there, right? And if you're an Atlanta fan, I think you're looking at this one thinking, all right, well, maybe they're going to be a little choppy in the way that Atlanta has been as well, because you've got kind of a mix and match starting 11 and 18 or whatever. So this is a really bad time for Atlanta to go try to play a team that's all of a sudden decided they wanted to be defensive, though.
Yeah.
Atlanta's got to scrounge out some goals somewhere and just get that feeling back, because it's not that the talent's not there, right? Like, it's not that. There's just something is not clicking with this team in the attack. And admittedly, LAFC, regardless of necessarily who they put out defensively, is not going to make it easy at all, even though you're at home. I get that. And that's what makes it hard to predict, too. And that's also, again, coming in from an Open Cup match, like, that's what makes these kind of like double match week, especially when you involve the Open Cup, where a team could play 120 minutes. You take all those factors into consideration, and the game after tends to be a crapshoot. Like, it really is kind of a coin flip. So you've got to go and be less predictable in the attack, I think, is going to be one of the bigger things. Hopefully you can get, Almada back for a little bit of time, just to give you a little something different. Maybe
so basically what you're saying in the attack is that Atlanta United has to kind of do this. Like Macaulay Culkin in Home Alone. Yeah. They just kind of run down the stairs and that kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay. And maybe a little more inside and not out to the wings as often. Be a little less predictable out here. Be a little, more engaged right through the middle. Yeah. Take a shot. We saw what happened with Slish when he decided to take a shot last weekend. It turned out well. And I think that's a lot of it. I mean, this is no like super involved technical, like, formational genius kind of chat, but like when you put your foot through the ball and you send it towards the goal, some good thing might happen. And Atlanta's just not putting tons of shots. They're sending in great crosses. They're getting into the final third, but they're not putting the ball towards the net as much as they need to and making a goalkeeper work. And I think sometimes it just requires you. Yes, there we go. I don't have my whiteboard.
See, that's the thing, man. It's like you gotta have the whiteboard.
I know. I didn't pack it and bring it. But yeah, put ball towards net more often.
Put ball towards net. Yes,
we shall see.
Put ball towards net. I like that. All right. So what else is on your mind? See, we haven't had the chance to talk since Nashville, and then you did, as a part of our Formational Genius chat, you did mention, put ball on boot and use outside of boot and have it go past Joe Willis. Now that you've had the chance to digest both Open Cup and Nashville, now we talked a little bit about LAFC, we talked about Open Cup, but going back to Nashville, now that you've had a couple of days to think about it and apply it to what happened last night and apply it to what might be happening this weekend going forward against LAFC, what are some of your thoughts?
I mean, I kind of said this on our spaces last night, and I was met with some disagreements. But
gee, what a shock.
I know, right? Let me get me started. But you take Nashville and you take this match, and it may not be trending upwards in the stock market way that you want it to go,
right?
But you've gotten two results, right? Like you got a result on the road against Nashville, which, taking all the other stuff away, that's still good. Like, yeah, 3 points would have been great. 3 points would have been better. We know this. But you still went up there and you got something. And it could have gone either way. It really could have. Then you go over to Charleston and you scrounge out one of the most nail-biting wins you probably could have had. But you got the win. And Pineda said it really well last night, I think. I asked him, what is the mindset now going to LAFC? And what do you kind of tell the team? And he said, it's always easier to go into like recovery mode and get guys the time they need to recover fully, coming off of a win, but especially a win like this. And, he mentioned at the last Open Cup match, like sometimes it's one of these kind of matches that can be the springboard. And if you're an Atlanta United fan, like that's what you have to hold on to, because we can sit here and, talk about the negativity, whether it's the coaching, the players, whatever you want to put it on, GG, this rumor, all this stuff, but you got to hold on to something. And you got to just hope that you've stopped the free fall and that you can go back home and handle business inside Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Because if you're not holding on to that hope, you didn't watch Ted Lasso, and you need to go watch it and give yourself something to hold on to.
Ted Lasso is arguably my favorite show of all time. My car is literally named Roy Kent, so I don't know what y'all are talking about.
Forgot about that.
Oh, wow.
I love that show. It is so good.
Yep.
So basically, let me get this straight. So Tyler, on Saturday afternoon, you're going to find a way to sneak into the locker room and put a Believe sign right in the middle of the locker room for Atlanta United. Is that how this is going to work?
I will plaster that sign all over the locker room. We're going to come in there after the fact, and it's going to be yellow and blue.
New color scheme.
Yes.
Well, it fits with the Resurgence kit.
Yeah. Well, what you do is you do white and blue, and then that way you're tied into the Resurgence.
There you go.
I like it.
All right. So, Maddie, what else is on your mind? I know you've got to leave at the top of the hour along with Tyler, but what else is on your mind with Tyler this morning?
Oh, gosh. Man, I don't really know.
Okay.
I feel like we kind of covered everything, but
okay.
I mean, geez, it was so funny though. Like, obviously Josh Cohen, Open Cup savior, but I mean, when we went to penalties, I wasn't really worried. After obviously, Battery got the first save with Lennon, I was like, oh no, I was like a little nervous. But with Cohen behind net, I didn't really know, because like he did it with the twos. He did it with the twos. He has the saves that he's been able to do. I mean, very, very fair that he is our Open Cup hero for yesterday.
So it has evolved from Open Cup hero Brandon Vasquez to Open Cup hero Josh Cohen. Is that how this plays?
As of now.
I mean, absolutely.
Okay. So far in Open Cup, it has been, it's been fairly chalky and not necessarily a surprise. You ended up with Atlanta winning NYCFC 2 on top of the parking deck at St. John's. They drew an early red. New Mexico United got the win. Sporting Kansas City in Overland Park beat FC Tulsa, put 4 on them after a red. Sacramento, I thought that division was going to go through Sacramento. Sacramento was tied at 2 after 90 minutes. They beat San Jose 4-3. And then LA beat Loudoun 3-0 last night. Tonight it's Indy 11, Detroit City, Tampa Bay, and Dallas as a part of the discussion. It will be interesting to see how the draw works its way out and what it might look like for Atlanta United in the next round. Who do they send wayward? Basically, is the question. Seattle and Phoenix, you figure you won't be touching anything there, but you wonder where that scheduling quirk is going to be now with the teams that have advanced, plus what could happen tonight.
Yeah, I mean, let's see, because Tampa Bay, Dallas, that one, I mean, that one's not going to stand out either way. I mean, Dallas wins. I guess that's going to be travel one way or the other. I don't know. There's somebody that's going to get shafted on this one for sure. And I don't know who is the most likely. I mean, I guess technically Loudoun as well. Loudoun could end up having to make a significant.
Loudoun's been shafted already.
Yes, they have.
Loudoun got shafted by having to go all the way out to LA and just go. Gee, thanks for putting us in that division.
Yeah, we appreciate it, guys.
Yeah, yes, high and hearty salute. And tonight, Indy 11, Detroit City, Tampa Bay hosting Dallas, Seattle hosting Phoenix. Indy 11, no surprise, favored at home at a -135. Tampa Bay is an underdog at home at Al Lang against a Dallas team that's just not very good. Dallas is a +148, and Seattle at Starfire a -175 as Phoenix come to town at a +407. Chalk, I mean, LAFC was a -1,000 last night. Sacramento and San Jose went to extra time, but they were a +250 on the draw. Sporting a big favorite. New Mexico United a big favorite. Charleston and Atlanta United, by the way, a +277 if you went 90-minute draw last night. So that was if you were into juice boxes and you went that direction, you had a successful evening, at least in the early sections.
Yeah, you did well. And I thought it was interesting because I know a lot of the chat over on our Discord and stuff was Atlanta is being considered as the least favorite to win this match right now, which I thought was really odd. I mean, I guess with taking into consideration form and all that kind of stuff, but I think when you look at an MLS team versus a USL team, regardless of your feelings on which team is better, because Charleston's a great team and Atlanta's having a bad run of form, you tend to expect the MLS team to be the favored one.
Right.
But that wasn't the case, at least last night.
What's going on at Scarves and Spikes, sir?
So I'm gonna be at the beach today. So
there you go.
No, Sydney and Tommy are gonna be holding it down. They're gonna do the show tonight at 7. Working on a guest.
You're not doing it from the beach. You're not gonna be.
I may make a cameo. I don't know, or I might be swatting away sand gnats. I'm not sure yet.
Well, the happy late birthday.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I enjoy the beach.
You feeling a year older?
Yes. I felt a year older last year. No, I'm excited though. It was nice to get away, chill. I know people are like, it was funny. I mentioned it to Pineda last night. I was like, yeah, it's my birthday. And he's like, and you're here? I was like, yeah, man. Like I get to enjoy a soccer game. Like regardless, I know some people consider it work, but like I love soccer and I got to come out here and enjoy a new field I've never been to and hang out and with the family and I get to go to the beach tomorrow. Like make it a dual purpose trip. So
that's what you do.
Yeah. Awesome. Met Dale, by the way. Shout out to Dale. Yeah.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, it's a fun time. It was a good time. And
all about emotional capital and making sure that you can sit there and it's like, well, we did this. I think I can do this. It's all about the dollars in the jar and the dollars that you can take out of the jar.
Yeah. And I got some good seafood.
Seafood.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah. Other than that, though, yeah, we got the show tonight, or they got the show tonight, and then we'll be back at it on Saturday.
All right. So we will see you on Saturday. Just have fun, my friend. Congratulations on another lap around the sun at 364.97. Earth days, and that we will see you when you get back. Just make sure that you spend quality time, and dryer sheets and SPF 50. Dryer sheets and SPF 50. Remember that.
I go look for a sponsor in both of those things right now.
There you go. Yes, exactly. All right. Be well, my friend. We'll see you soon.
See y'all.